All right, friends, it's Team Man, and we're back doing our favorite YouTuber, JasonBlaha, man. We're going to do a reaction video to the gym, lifting, recruiting, fitness slave himself, JasonBlaha. So, we're going to react to the gym, lifting, recruiting, fitness, gear slave. Blaha says functional strength is a meaningless gimmick. Okay.
Hey everybody, it's JasonBlaha here. Today I want to chat with you guys and gals a little bit about the idea that functional strength has been a long-standing gimmick. It really is kind of meaningless. And I'm not saying some strength is not more functional than others. What I'm saying is people completely misapply this idea as if we do these other little minor balancing movements and we go to really low force productions and low loads, that it is somehow better. In other words, doing some stability stuff on one leg or a Bosu ball or whatever is functional strength. And it's like, that's not how it works. Sorry, but if you're going to talk pure athletic power and strength, stuff like a barbell back squat has one heck of a long history of producing Olympic level sprinters, helping NFL players get $10 million contracts. So again, you start thinking of these extreme high rate of force production performance. Right, these things work. Back squats, box squats.
Yeah, high rate of force production. What has higher rates of force production? Eccentric or concentric lifts? Eccentric has more higher rates of force production. There you go.
Deadlifts, pulls of different types. All these big movements.
What type of lifting has the most functional strength? Eccentric exercise has the most functional strength. That's right, because it is what builds strength and muscle mass, increases way more than concentric lifting. Now, think about it. In concentric lifting, there's always going to be a form of eccentric, right? There's always a lowering of that weight. You're not lifting in one direction. People are moving in both directions. But here's the thing. You can move more in one direction than the other direction. In other words, for example, if you're doing a full, let's say you do a concentric movement with a weight. When you lower the weight, there's less weight lowering than it was going up heavier. Now, in an eccentric exercise, usually the weight is heavier, heavier going down than it would be going up, because you wouldn't make it for a full concentric. You could only make it for a partial concentric. That's the difference. So when people lift in the gym, they usually don't lift for full eccentrics anyways. That's why they're going heavy. They say, well, I gotta go heavy, gotta progressively overload, right? So they progressively overload. They try to lift the heaviest weight, or they do their cheat curls or whatever. They're cheating at the weight, swinging them, throwing them up in the air, doing weird shit. Okay, concentrically. But when it's lowering, it's going down too easy. Okay, it's going down too easy. There's no resistance. That's what I'm talking about. There's no resistance in their concentric exercise, but there is a degree of eccentric still there. But a small amount, very minimal amount. So how do you get the most? You get the most at the bottom. Okay, so when you pull the most weight, or whatever it is you're doing, pushing or pulling the most weight, so you're only going up so far concentrically. See what I mean? There's the difference. And then these guys that do concentric, they're going very heavy at the top, but very light going down at the bottom. See what I mean? So there's the difference. Like I said, eccentric is always going to be superior.
They give you the most functional strength for athleticism, right? You're not.
No, this what he's doing is not bodybuilding. It's not building bodies, especially if you keep doing concentric lifting. It's not functional. It's not functional. You can't use it in other sports because your body's small and weak. You haven't built your body. You haven't built your body, bro. It's small and weak.
Getting there by hopping around on one leg, and I'm sorry, you're not. Okay? Am I saying some balance and stability training can't have its place?
Look, why do you think he took up bodybuilding? He became dysfunctional because he got so fat doing powerlifting. He got fat. So he says, well, I took up bodybuilding. It's not really he took up bodybuilding. He simply lost all the fat so he could become become somewhat functional. Because in his old videos when he was fat, he was so dysfunctional because the fat's in the way. That's the problem. The fat can get in the way. Yeah, somewhat. See what I mean? But whatever. That's why people move for aesthetic looks, this and that. They do a lot of calisthenics. This is the word, calisthenics, aesthetic, calisthenics. Why? Because this is associated with aesthetic. The aesthetic look is really from calisthenics. Bodybuilding just means to build your body big and strong. It has nothing to do with it has nothing to do with aesthetic looks. That's something that you're mimicking because you saw these guys doing calisthenics and you go, oh, they look so muscular. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, you do get muscular if you do a lot of eccentric work for sure. So bodybuilding, that's just a byproduct. When real bodybuilding, when you do real bodybuilding like eccentric exercise, a byproduct is that muscularity. It is that aesthetic look. But that's not what Blaha's doing here. Blaha's injecting steroids, and he's like using weights to I don't know, to burn body fat. He doesn't really bodybuild. Well, all his movements are concentric because he's an idiot. He thinks bodybuilding has something to do with powerlifting, concentric lifting. No, absolutely not. It's a different form. It's not a sport. It's a different form of exercise. It's based on eccentric exercise. That's the difference. But he's stupid anyways. What do you expect?
Of course it can. Can some agility training have its place for certain sports? Sure. But when we start talking real world strength, it's the application of big, heavy loads. Or
real world strength is dependent on how much muscle, how big you are, and how much muscle you carry. That's real world strength. There you go, man. That's real world strength.
High rate of force production movements. So I mean, yeah, someone who can clean 300 pounds off the floor and clean it up to their shoulders has a
clean and jerk. Cleaning, they're just throwing weights up in the air. They can't really move that weight around. It's based on performance. They're performing by throwing weights up off hips and shit and bouncing it. That's all they're really doing, bro. Get it? They're just throwing stuff around. But whatever, okay. That's not functional strength.
insane amount of functional strength. I don't think we can deny that. If you can back squat 500 pounds.
Okay, you could back squat 500 pounds concentrically. Okay, you got some concentric nervous system strength, whatever. How is that functional? I don't understand. You still need help lifting that sofa. You're gonna ask the guy to help you across the street. You're not gonna move that sofa by yourself because look at the length of the sofa. Number one, it's so fucking long and shit. Like where exactly are you going to start by lifting it by yourself? How are you gonna carry? We're gonna carry it up the stairs or something? Upstairs? Crazy.
And again, we talk about the ability to apply that strength in the real world. But again,
how do you apply that strength in the real world? How do you apply it? When you walk down the street and you see a big motherfucking guy, and you're a small, strong guy that clean that so-called 500, do you think that big, strong guy walking down the street's gonna care about a small, strong guy? Doesn't give a shit about you or your shitty little lift. How functional is it going to be then when that big guy smothers you? See what I mean?
What do we mean by the real world?
Real world, yeah, real world.
Are you talking on a pro football field? Are you talking about in a professional MMA match?
Look, I put up a video about, Eddie the Beast, Eddie Hall. He felt threatened when the big cop came to arrest him. But guess what? When Eddie Hall showed up at MMA and he fought these two little midgets, he beat the shit out of them. Want to know why? Because he was bigger than them, and they were small and tiny. He beat the shit out of both of them.
Because all that stuff carries over to that. You talk about winning a sprinting event, because plenty of Olympic-level sprinters can squat 500 pounds. It's not uncommon.
Olympic sprinters can squat all that. They don't need that. They don't need concentric lifting. It's not functional for running. It destroys your knees and shit, concentric lifting. You need eccentric. That means You're really going to depth heavy, especially on the squat. That doesn't work, man. Concentric. It fucking will slow you down, concentric lifting.
But is that really functional for most people? Probably not. But realistically, yeah.
It's not associated with fiber splitting. But look, bro, this is not associated with fiber splitting. Look, I'll explain this. If you look up here, if you look up again overview, right, by Google overview, AI overview, eccentric training is generally more effective than concentric training for what? Increasing muscle strength and mass. Eccentric training can also improve cardiovascular health and decrease blood pressure. How does it do that? See, because it's superior. Explanation. Here's the explanation. Eccentric training involves lengthening muscles, which cause more muscle fibers to do what? To split. The body then rebuilds these fibers, resulting in larger muscles. Eccentric training can also increase tendon stiffness, which makes tendons stronger and more effective at transferring force from muscles to bone. Okay. Concentric training. Now they're going to talk about concentric training. Concentric training involves shortening muscles, which generates enough force to move an object. That's it. It shortens your muscles. And it keeps them small. It keeps them small and compact so they can exude more force. That's why you're not building any muscles doing concentric lifting. Get it? So, concentric training is the most popular type of, I know what they're going to say here, the most popular type of contraction. It is the most popular type of contraction because that's what lazy people do in gyms. They're comfortable slaves. If you're a comfortable slave, then you're going to do comfortable lifting, get it? And then you're going to get a zero, and then you want to complain all day why your newbie gains, hard gainer, and genetic limit, and all these phony things that people are screaming, yelling, and fake natties, and all this bullshit, whatever. Yeah, okay, whatever. Anyways, it's a main way to strengthen muscles and increase muscle size. Well, it says it's shortening the muscles, so what size is it increasing? You know what I mean? That's what, see, it's vague when they're telling you this. What they mean by the size, what they mean by size, they mean the sarcoplasm. It increases the sarcoplasm is what it does. You understand me? Because it's really, you can come in often lifting. You become a lifting slave coming in often. It becomes like metabolic fucking endurance. As far as strengthening muscles, I'm not saying that your muscles that you have won't get a little bit stronger from the loads going down in your bone. There's something going on there, right? But not a lot. Not like eccentric exercise. More superior. Anyways, examples of concentric, eccentric exercises. Bicep curl, a concentric movement where you lift a dumbbell toward your shoulder. Deadlift, a barbell exercise where you drop the bar between each rep, eliminating the eccentric portion. Dumbbell row, an exercise where you let gravity take over in the eccentric phase. These are just examples. I don't know, whatever. It's meaningless, but you get the point, bro. It's more sophisticated. It's more functional. It's more everything. Blah's lying. Whatever.
Big loads to where your whole body gets used matter. But here's the other thing.
Yeah, big loads eccentrically.
How do we build those big loads? In other words, the lifters who do this stuff without getting hurt, like for example, guys, I'm 48 years old. I am 48 years old. You're about to watch me do that. That's a 505 squat on a 20.
Look, I guarantee if you do eccentric lifting for like at least 3 months, in 3 months, just 3, even 2 months, 2 months, bro, I guarantee you by the second month, you're going to notice a big difference. You're going to look completely different. You're going to look massive. You're going to be super strong. You're going to feel confident. You're going to feel so confident in yourself and you're going to feel super fucking strong like Superman, bro, because you built muscle. When you build muscle and you can feel it on your body, you can see it, feel it, you can feel it, that strength, that power. Like you could punch through punching bags right through, boom. Your fucking arm will go through fucking doors and walls and shit and everything. But when you do a concentric lifting, your body never really feels that strong. You don't feel confident. You don't feel like you can punch through walls or fucking doors and shit and take down fucking cars and shit. You don't feel that way. Why? Because you have a skinny, small, weak body. You're a small, strong guy. Get it? You're a small, strong guy that can lift heavy weight. You understand the difference between a big, strong guy and a small, strong guy? A big, strong guy can punch through walls, but a small, strong guy can only lift a heavy weight off the floor. Get it? A bigger dick is stronger than a little dick. Get it? That's why women like big, strong dicks. They don't like small dicks because they're weak.
12-inch box set is harder than doing a normal back squat. Again, good coaches will tell you that. Hey, you should watch me do it.
In the back of their mind, these women, they believe a small dick can impregnate them. Only a big, strong dick can do it.
Pretty easy 585 deadlift. I'm doing triples with 315 bench. I do weighted pull-ups, weighted shins with a 45 plate, and I'm over 200 pounds. I mean, I move some respectable loads. But here's the thing. How do people build these exercises? And in other words, let's come over and discuss why this idea of the functional strength of, well, an isolation movement's not functional. How is it not functional? How do you think the best lifters build these movements? And I'm not talking about the high specificity power lifters who end up breaking and are completely out of the game by age 35. I'm talking about the people who stay put together.
Man, how many power lifters do you know that are still in the game? They're not. By the time they reach 25 or something, they start early powerlifting. They drop off. Want to know why they drop off? Because they've destroyed their body. Because concentric lifting is not functional lifting. It destroys you. It destroys your joints, your body. It destroys you, bro. Get it? That's why these powerlifters, they're all destroyed. They get injuries. They get injured. They get crippled. Whole bunch of stuff, man. Get taken out.
Well, how do you think
If it's so functional, here's the thing, Blaha. If all of this is so functional, like you say, this concentric lifting, why are you taking steroids? Why do you have to take steroids if it's so superior and so good? See, in eccentric training, you don't have to take steroids because it enhances your genetics. That's the point. You get so much out of eccentric training. You get nuclei, you get fiber splitting, you get muscle mass, muscle strength, power, speed, performance. You get more type 2 muscle fibers. You get better at lifting at both. Eccentric, concentric lifts go up like through the roof. Like, it's just so superior, bro. You don't need steroids. You need steroids if you're a concentric lifter because it failed you. So the first thing you do, you take steroids and you continue in this behavior. And it did nothing. It did nothing. It simply artificially induced a fake look of you got muscles and you're lifting a heavy weight. That's it.
we build these exercises? Do you think we don't use machines? Because let's be realistic. If you can squat 500 pounds on your back to depth, you have 100 times more functional strength. That is hyperbole and exaggeration.
Oh, I won't say that. I will not deny that squatting 500 pounds on your back, it definitely will help for sure. 500-pound squats will definitely make you your body pretty strong, but does it make you functional and faster, strength, power, speed, and performance? No, absolutely not. It doesn't. It can make you dysfunctional if you just do it concentrically a lot and you don't do enough eccentrics when you're doing squats.
Disclaimer, 100 times more functional strength than anyone who's hopping around on a Bosu ball, or flinging around a 20-pound kettlebell. I mean, do you really think when it comes to push come to...
You think eccentric exercise is not functional? Or calisthenics is not functional? Calisthenics is functional, bro. What are you talking about? You can't do that. Your lifting doesn't allow you to do that. But people that do eccentric lifting, they can do that. They're strong enough to do that because they got the muscle to do it.
Show the ability to just tackle someone or take a hit or to grab something.
See, calisthenics is based on muscular strength. It isn't based on lifting a heavy weight. That's why all of you are weak. All of you are weak. You can't do any calisthenics because you're weak, broski. Get it? Yeah.
You really think that 500 squat and a 600 deadlift? Does anyone out there, I want people to really ask that question. Do you think a person who can do that can't produce absurd amounts of force in a struggle or a conflict or grabbing something or pulling something? Oh, they got real world strength. Way above the top 1% of the population, above the top 1% of the gym going population.
No. What they have is they're good at lifting these weights concentrically. That's all they have, really. They didn't build any physical strength, muscular strength. That's why they're weak at doing things that are functional, like calisthenics or gymnastics or any of these things. That's why they're weak. That's why people like Alex Leonidas from Alpha Destiny, he added calisthenics to his exercises so he could be somewhat functional. He used to show that in his videos. He used to talk about it, functional strength. He would walk with these bags and shit and whatever and do a bunch of calisthenics.
Okay? That's the top 1% of people who work out 5 days a week or 4 days a week.
If you're working out that many days a week, then it's performing, your performance. You're not building anything, you're performing. There's a difference.
Okay? That is a huge amount of force production. And I'm not saying it just because I can do it. I'm an old man doing it. So, but here's the thing. How do you think we build that? Does anyone out here really think that my ability to do that at my age means I do?
Muscle doesn't build 4 times, 5 times a week, okay? That's just stupid to think that. That's nonsense. Muscle doesn't build 4 or 5 times a week.
Nothing but big movements? No. I do tons of high rep stuff, like right there. That's a 12 rep sets of good mornings with a much lighter weight. Do you think that carries over to my deadlift? You don't think reverse hyperextension machines? You don't think my benching and pressing has anything to do with my high rep tricep extensions or band work for my triceps?
No, that does nothing. These rubber bands and shit, whatever else you're doing there, they're ridiculous.
Okay? You don't think some of these other smaller dumbbell movements have helped build my back strength that you're seeing demonstrated in some of this stuff?
Those little light dumbbell movements, they don't do anything. You're stupid to think that.
Okay? You don't think that's a factor?
No.
You don't think doing curls
No, it's not a factor.
carries over to those chins, and you don't think
There's no adaptations. There's 0 adaptations. So what's the point?
the chin-up strength carries over to all that pulling strength?
Chin-up strength can definitely help if you're doing it, properly and enough. But once you become adapted to it, there's no more adaptations. You got 0 adaptations. Now you're just comfortable at doing it. See what I mean? That's about it.
You see where we're going with this? So where does it become functional? Because then we have to say, look, if building a 500-pound back squat produces enormous functional strength, then every good coach will tell you that is absolutely a fact.
How does it do that, though, exactly, Blaha? Please elaborate, because I really doubt it.
It is way more effective than all this goofball stuff people are selling as functional strength by any metric.
Well, look at Blaha, the way he's lifting this. Up and down, up and down. It's just become exercise. There's no adaptations here. There's nothing going on here. He's just wasting his time injecting steroids, trying to impress people with this fucking bullshit, whatever he's doing.
You can measure. You could take someone who's been doing any of these functional strength classes is the only thing they do for 5 years straight. You compare them to someone who can back squat 500 pounds. You go test any of their force production and strength. It's not even.
What about their force production and strength? What strength? What about their force? I see calisthenics people. What about their force production? Can you do calisthenics like they do? Can you do those? No, Blaha. Want to know why? Because you have force production, but you don't have any muscular strength. Now, can calisthenic guys lift super heavy weight? Not particularly, because they're not focused on the most force production. They're focused on increasing muscular strength to match their body. There's a difference between your natural strength. If you want to increase your natural strength, then you want to increase muscle mass. Muscles, get it? Muscle fibers. The more muscle fibers you increase, the more you increase your natural strength. But you never increased your natural strength. What you did was you increased force production. Get it? Doing concentric exercise. That's why you're small and you're still physically weak. You're a small, strong guy.
Gotta be close.
I like how Blaha pretends to be big in the camera. He flares out his arms, walking, whatever.
But how do we build those sort of big lifts? We do them by building the smaller muscles up too. You get to those.
God, he looks so old, like 85 years old with this toque on and this stupid shirt.
Big numbers safely, especially as you get older, by isolating your weak links, isolating different support muscles. Okay, maybe build your hamstrings so you can do a squat off of a box like that. Because if you have weak hamstrings and you're a 500-pound box squatter or back squatter,
yes, Blaha.
You try to do 450 on that box with weak hamstrings, you're gonna fail.
Look at this. Look at my 13-inch arms with absolutely no tricep. Look at me. The body doesn't match the lifts because concentrics, they don't build bodies, dumbass.
Okay. See where we're going with this? You don't think cables and dumbbells and machines are functional, but if they help you build those big lifts, they sure as hell are functional. Functional strength means that you've built every muscle in your body.
Yeah, functional strength means you built every muscle in your body, but you're not building any muscles, Blaha. Concentric exercise is not associated with building muscles, you fool.
And then you have the ability to coordinate it and use them together. Like that is truly functional strength.
Yeah, that is functional strength, but you don't have any of that. Because you can't do anything. You can't do calisthenics. You can't do gymnastics. You can't do anything because your strength is based on lifting something heavy off the floor.
Right? And we know this in strength and conditioning sports. We know this from what produces the best athletes. Better look at what they're doing.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
And then come and tell me what's functional, okay? They're not getting there with this functional strength training. They're doing big, heavy squats and deadlifts and cleans and pulls and presses with big barbells.
Again, he keeps talking about deadlifting. He's taking the big four out of bodybuilding, out of context, out of bodybuilding. That's in bodybuilding. That's incorporated. That's all bodybuilding. They stole that from bodybuilding, these powerlifting fools.
Weights, oftentimes bands, chains, and then coming in and building smaller muscles around it. Right? That's how we get.
Their lifting is based on performance to show off and perform. Get it? They're performing lifts. They're performing slaves. That isn't based on functional strength at all whatsoever. Lifting something heavy off the floor and then dropping it is not functional in any way. Other than you can lift something heavy off the floor and drop it. That's it.
Strong. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that.
You can't lift your own body weight doing those deadlifts. You can't lift your own body weight off the floor. You can't do anything that calisthenic guys do. Want to know why? Because you didn't build any physical strength. You didn't build any muscle. Because concentric exercise does not build muscle. That's why powerlifters are always complaining. They're always saying, I got a stronger, but I never got a bigger. Get it? They don't get a bigger because it doesn't build muscles. Get it? Get it?
Today, I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys.
Yeah, very informative. I'll talk to you guys later. Tell me what you think about that. See you in the next video, man.